Unsurprisingly, the Nerd and Tie podcast is a part of the Nerd and Tie podcast network. For more podcasts from actual play to true crime to witchcraft, go to nerdandtie.com or join our Discord by finding an invite at nerdandtie.com/Discord. Did you know you could sponsor Nerd and Tie? That's right. For just $20, we'd say your name here. We'd talk about how great you are. We might even high-five you in the hallways if that was a thing that human beings still did. But we can't, because that would be weird. But still, we'd say how nice you are. Just go to nerdandtie.com, click on the sponsor form, or support our legal fund by going to gofundme.com/nerdandtie.
On this fortnight's edition of Nerd and Tie, BlerdCon will require all attendees to be vaccinated. The Harmony Gold Macross Robotech Wars may finally be over. And we take a look at streaming favorites Godzilla vs. Kong, Falcon and Winter Soldier, and Mortal Kombat. All this and the Vomit Hat Steve Challenge on this month's edition of Nerd and Tie.
Sorry about that.
No, you had to do it.
That
appropriate.
was completely legitimate.
Appropriate. Yeah.
Well, welcome once again, listeners, to another month's edition of Nerd and Tie. Actually, a lot on the docket, I would say. This is kind of an exciting one.
Yes, it is.
I am your first speaker of the evening because I'm emotionally invested in this Harmony Gold nonsense. Nick Izumi, screaming from the realms of the battle, the outworld, is the heroic Traidor.
Finish him.
And trying to keep this dimension safe from the ghosts that continue to haunt Luigi's mansion. The ghost-busting Genjamin Brock.
Reference. Mario. For reference, boyfriend and I just finished co-op playing Luigi's Mansion 3.
How is it?
It's really fun. It's actually really well, like, they did a really good job, like, with the co-op system. It's really fun for co-op.
Nice. It's been on my radar. I just haven't I haven't had a chance to like look at really much for games lately, but I was pretty jazzed when I heard Luigi was getting another mansion. So
that man deserves as many houses as he can find.
He started from the bottom. Now look at him.
Yeah, now he's here.
Yeah, now he's here.
They say in New York you can be a new man. He just started as a plumber, now he's a Ghostbuster. What a guy! Anyway, that was a weird collection of just music and then musical references. I'm doing
we're
great.
Wholly unrelated. This is just strange.
So you're in for a bit of a roller coaster of an episode.
A stream of consciousness with Nick Izumi week.
This is what happens. Like we've been in this situation for a year. Like a year ago, we did the insane episode where we brought on like Let's Be Legendary and Kyle and like had the big group, and now.
I am officially a hermit. I'm due to get my certificate in the mail any day now.
We've all been strange, but I hit my 2 weeks after my second shot on Thursday this week. So,
nice.
And Krista's getting her shot tomorrow. Her second shot tomorrow. So
I actually got shot 1 this last Thursday, so
Woo-hoo.
I'm gonna be.
So
May 18th.
So is it just me, or is it weird? Like people like trying to like turn companies like Pfizer and Moderna into like Pokemon references and stuff, or Game of Thrones references, and I'm like, these are pretty evil corporations. We don't need to make them cutesy. Look, just because they're making the thing that's saving our lives right now doesn't stop all the evil stuff they've done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's
Which one
Chill.
did you get? Me. It's like
Let's not
freaking
romanticize Pfizer.
no.
Let's just get their shots so we can live.
I am gonna say this when cons come back, all you ladies out there, look forward to that being the new douchebag pickup line at con raves. Hey, Pfizer or Moderna? Hey, girl, come on, Pfizer or Moderna? Like, it's coming.
Hey, Johnson
It
and
is
Johnson's
coming.
back on the market, so
Nice.
you get
Okay.
one shot or two,
Third
baby.
option. Oh,
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
Hey, what? Speaking of vaccinations, I want to. I think that leads us perfectly into our first topic tonight.
It sure does.
It's almost like we did that on purpose.
I actually kind of did.
I kind of hoped you did.
Not to admit, that I purposely segued us into a topic, thus disrupting any naturalness that it may have appeared to have had. But yeah.
To be fair, before it got weird, I didn't say this week or this fortnight, so
You
felt
did.
like
You
I
got
was
it
off
right.
to a good
You
start.
got it right that we're a monthly show, and we've been a monthly show for years. And you've remembered, and I was so proud of you, and I didn't say anything. I was mentally thinking, I'm so proud of Nick for getting the interval of our show correctly. I'm not joking. I literally had that thought.
Time is starting to make sense again. Maybe it's funny. But well, a lot of us are getting our shots, getting ready for being able to face this post-COVID world. It's been interesting watching the convention community react. And most interestingly, BlerdCon is taking it a step further than any other cons that I've seen by full on requiring attendees to be vaccinated.
Yeah. So BlerdCon is based in the DC area,
Mm-hmm.
and they're right now they're scheduled to run this summer, and obviously that's vaccination rates are not going to be amazing by summer right now. Just looking at how long it's taking to get people to actually go out there, because a certain category of human beings has decided that a shot with almost 1 in a million chance of complications is scarier than a disease that kills 1 out of every 100 people. Just boggle at their inability to do math. Anyway, so BlerdCon has
They're bad people. I'm not taking
the people
that back. They're bad people.
The people not getting the shot are bad people. You said that right after I said BlerdCon, so let's be really clear.
Oh God, no. I'm definitely not dissing on BlerdCon.
Yeah, right. I just want to be dial back. So BlerdCon has made an announcement on April 19th that that BlerdCon 2021 is a vaccine mandated event. Even if someone had previously had COVID and recovered, you still have to get vaccinated. And only those having completed their completed vaccine regimen and showing their COVID-19 vaccination record card at registration will be admitted into the event. This extends to all staff, volunteers, vendors, contractors, and sponsors. And they posted information on how to find vaccination sites, but yeah, and obviously, this means that it's going to be an issue for children 15 and under, but because right now the only approved vaccines are for ages 16 and up. But yeah, this is a huge step, and
I'm all for it. Honestly, I know that it seems like a lot, but I think it's the only responsible way to hold an event for the time being.
It's necessary to hold an event in 2021, I think. Look, I know that there have been events that have decided to try to run in the time being. There have been events that have not canceled. There have been events that have decided to go forward, and some have been trying to be good about masks, and some of them have not. But either way, there's a fucking vaccine. I'm sorry. If you can get vaccinated, get vaccinated. And if you can't get vaccinated, you shouldn't be going to a convention right now.
Shout out to my alma mater con, that is to say the one that I helped co-found DaishoCon for actually like canceling. I know
Yeah.
that wasn't an easy decision, but it was the mature and responsible decision, and everyone who worked at the con should be proud
Yeah.
of doing the right thing, frankly.
For listeners unaware, DaishoCon is an annual convention in the Wisconsin Dells, and usually held in November, usually the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided to cancel, and I'm a little sad because I was part of me was still optimistic we might be able to, but it's a smart move. Um, yeah, I definitely think that they made the right decision making the cancellation.
Hey, I am right there with you. I want to go
Yeah.
to cons again. I want to wear fancy frilly outfits again. I want to be a cosplay thought again. And I just can't. And it's just the responsible decision for right now.
It's almost like we have to be adults about these things, and that
Basically.
conventions aren't worth risking human lives. I mean, like, I'm full disclosure, I'm the convention director for No Brand Con currently, and we've canceled 3 dates. we like technically we're still organizing No Brand Con 19, which is now scheduled for 2022. The original dates for that were April of 2020, and then we postponed them to August. And I just remember we postponed that to August 2020, and we were like, look, like it should be good by August. If it's not, we've got bigger problems than the convention to deal with. And I was right, unfortunately, when I said that, but it's still terrible. And so yeah, and then we canceled our 2021 dates back in, which would have been last weekend originally,
Mm-hmm.
and we canceled those back in November, and like we got fortunately our hotel let us out of our contract. To be fair, after the first reschedule, we actually had to put into our contract that we could cancel if the pandemic was still ongoing without penalty.
Okay.
So the second time we canceled, we were fine. The first time we canceled, it was like crossing fingers and toes. And then, the third time we canceled, we were still riding with those adjustments from the second contract. Like, I'm just like, I got an email about someone inquiring of when Artist Alley registration was going to open, and I had to be like, well, technically it closed already, and we have to double check that everyone we rolled over still wants to come. And if we find out that they're all coming, then we won't open it up at all. And if they're not, then we'll open it up in a few months. But it's just so weird because, like, we canceled. We were supposed to be April 2020. Like, we went to lockdown in March. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, we had a full con ready to go. Like, schedules were finalized. The program guide was about to go to print, and thankfully didn't. Same with the T-shirts. Like, literally, T-shirts and program guides were about to be sent to the printers, and we thankfully stopped that. But so now it's like for 2022, we are patchworking what we already have. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we've got to reach out to everyone who submitted stuff. Like, person A sent in a panel. We have to be like, are you still gonna come? Because it's not like I'm not confident that like we can't fill a schedule in 2022, but it's like these are people who submitted things for something literally at that point 2 years in the past. Sorry, but to go why I actually brought this up, as I have meandered as far and wide from the actual topic at hand. This is a step that we haven't decided if this is a step we're going to take, but we're going to take a look at vaccination rates going forward, and it's obviously nothing's been decided by the organization. This is a sort of decision we'd be making at an organization level for our organizing committee, but like it's going to be discussed whether or not we require vaccinations for everybody coming. Like
And that's a discussion that needs to be had.
I think every con. I think if a con is happening in 2021, it has to that has to be a discussion you have. And 2022, which is when we're scheduled for, is I still think it's going to be an issue because again, a bunch of assholes are not getting vaccinated, and we can't reach herd immunity if we don't get to 60 to 80%.
Mm-hmm. It's frustrating. It's super frustrating.
Yeah, it's.
I mm.
I don't know. Again, you have any thoughts?
Oh.
Welcome to the part of the show where I randomly put Gen on the spot.
Yeah, well, that's because I don't talk much. Um,
No one can hear you shrug, dear.
no, it's honestly a logical step for any conventions wishing to hold themselves like now till next year, most likely. Um, I'm curious as to, do you guys have like those stats on how big BlerdCon usually is?
That's a good
I
question.
have not looked at
I
that.
didn't look it up because I've never been.
Just because, like, I know.
It's about at least according to their own about page, it's
Mm,
3 to 4,000.
okay,
Or yeah, that's
sizable.
yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll definitely be interesting to see how well it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Since, like, yeah, I mean, we could see that something like this definitely would happen. It's just that this is the first time that it's happening. Um, so
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I guess I'm interested to see the results. I hope it works. And I'm glad Daisho decided to cancel because we were talking before the show how um, requiring these limitations and these rules um, can be super difficult for convention spaces where it's got a shared hotel, especially where like the convention space also houses people not part of the convention.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And we've all three of us have been to tons of conventions like that. I mean, I remember people holding wedding receptions
Oh god,
during the
GeekCon.
convention.
GeekCon.
Yep, that was hilarious.
Yup.
I mean, to be fair, with the
And
GeekCon one, the bride and groom kind of did it on purpose. It turned out like they
oh,
found out a convention was happening and got really excited. Like when,
I just heard that like they got really into it
yeah, they did.
and they were like playing games with people and
The
stuff.
bride
So
and groom knew ahead of
Good
time.
stuff.
Their wedding guests didn't necessarily know.
good for them. Good
I
for
mean,
them.
my
So,
favorite moment happened actually at a Daisho con where one of the rooms, the hotel accidentally double booked a room for the male strip show.
Uh-huh. I do remember this quite
And
clearly.
and the best part is that the room it was in to from if you entered the hotel at the lobby, you had to go through the entirety of the convention. This is back when they were in Stevens Point in a hotel that doesn't exist anymore.
oh,
I loved that Ramada it got torn down years ago. But you had to go
It's
all they
my
had to go all the
favorite
way through.
convention venue of all time.
And so I kept directing drunken, confused middle-aged women towards the strippers
oh,
because
no wonder I don't remember
because
it.
I was dressed normally, and so I would be like the one normal looking person making eye contact with them.
Gosh.
I just felt bad.
Yeah, I've only been there. I was only there once. That's where boyfriend and I met. Was
No.
the one, and it was. I'm pretty sure it was the last year that Daisha was
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, which ironically was probably the best year that we had at that Ramada.
Oh no,
And
that Ramada was an amazing space for
It
conventions.
was so
I don't know what
cool.
it's like from the organizer's point of view, but I know from like an attendee's point of view, that
Yeah,
layout was just amazing. Like
it
I'm
so good.
in my experience, I know a lot of people who really strongly prefer the Kalahari, and I mean, I'm not invalidating their experiences. I
well, it's different.
don't think I've loved running any event more than I loved running those first 3 years of Daisho.
Well, it's
Like with full respect to you guys for the time we spent on Nerd and Tie Expo too. I'm
Yeah,
just
No, I don't
that
disagree.
event was
That
amazing.
first off, like that hotel had, I believe, the best layout conducive to room parties at an anime con in Wisconsin that ever had.
Yes.
Yeah,
Like
Oh,
there
yes.
was no better place in that has ever been in the state for room parties at a Wisconsin con. And I will say that, and I think it's probably going to be true going forward forever. And that hotel doesn't exist anymore, so you can't prove me wrong.
and
like,
unfortunately, the thing is, even if even if the hotel wasn't gone forever, it's just that Daisho's gotten so big.
oh
it
no,
wouldn't
yeah,
fit
right. But
that
a
venue
different con
anymore,
could have
but
moved in. Daisho might have had to move out of that space, but another con could have moved in there. You know what I mean? Like it's like
and I'll always
Yeah,
treasure
but
that venue.
the only
And
problem is Stevens Point doesn't like conventions anymore.
it, I
well,
mean,
is there a
it's hot.
convention space in Stevens Point currently?
There is.
There's
There
this
is.
yeah, there's
The
there's
Holiday Inn.
Oh, okay.
yeah, there's the Holiday Inn where
Yeah.
EgoCon, a 1-day 1-room event with one Daleks, is every year.
Yep.
Yep,
Okay. Yeah, it's
that's a thing.
because I know that because Wausau's got several spaces that are nice because
Yes.
it's they've got the remaining plaza, and they've got obviously the Central Wisconsin Convention Center, whatever the technical name
They've
of that
got
place
a
is that EverCon
yeah,
is
they've
held.
got a convention center.
Yeah,
Yeah, that venue's great.
I
love
genuinely. Oh man, I hope it's safe enough to run EverCon this year. It's
Yeah,
like I've
yes.
gotten like I know CooleyCon is still planning on moving forward in La Crosse because I got the vendor notification, but I'm not applying to it. It's like
I got one for Geekcraft Expo, and like, props to them, but they're expensive.
yeah. Well, it's like I just don't think I'm gonna do any cons this year. You know,
Yeah, the only like
besides
the only caveat I'm
TradeCon.
having is I'm doing like outdoor craft fairs
Yeah,
where I have like my 9 foot by 9 foot tent, and I can put my tables of stuff in front of me and stay like 6 feet away from I don't care who.
the closest to a con I'm doing this year is Meat Grinder Weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my only for sure thing.
It's, for those of you who don't know, the Meat Grinder is a podcast on the Nerd and Tie podcast network. Go to nerdandtie.com/meatgrinder. We record that in person
Mm-hmm.
on a weekend near my birthday.
And few survive. No, I'm
Well, I mean,
overstating
all
that.
the
Anyway,
Well, few
but
characters
actually,
survive.
few characters survive. That's the whole point.
that's true.
That's why it's called the meat grinder.
That's
Mhm.
why it's called the Meat Grinder. If you listen to the Meat Grinder and you get attached to a character, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Hey, speaking of getting no, that's not a good transition. Anyway,
Yeah.
So speaking of being too attached to things,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Use
no,
it.
that's
Go
fine.
for it. Do
Harmony-
it.
Go for it.
Harmony Gold's being too attached to Macross might finally be coming to an end. And I just okay, anyone who's listened to the show on and off or has had to deal with me has heard me complain endlessly about a company known as Harmony Gold, a kind of shady real estate company that also owns the rights to the Americanized version of the anime Macross, which they dubbed into Robotech in the mid 80s and then designed a business model around hoping no one would ever find out about the Japanese source material.
They're a real estate company?
Yeah, they're also presumably that's where a lot of their money is coming from. That's what I'm assuming anyway, because I can't imagine the Robotech is actually making them any money.
And anyone who's listened to the show long enough knows that I make fun of Macross occasionally, not because I actually have a strong opinion about Macross, but because I find a central conceit to the plot amusing, and that is the power of singing. But I also haven't watched any Macross in like 25 years, so like I also don't really have strong I don't actually have strong negative opinions about the show. I just think it's a fun thing to make fun of because it's the one thing that sticks out in my memory from when I watched Robotech.
And I've been able to tell something was off, like, in the last few years. I want to, like, so Harmony Gold has had this stranglehold on the Macross brand. This has been everywhere thing from straight up in 2000 they actually were sending cease and desist letters to anime stores that carried Macross products, to throwing their weight around and saying that they have the exclusive rights to anything related to Macross, which kind of sucked for a lot of people because the Macross franchise has been going strong for almost 40 years now, and the vast majority of it has not been legally available outside Japan.
There was
Basically
that
on
one random movie that got a Macross Plus release on VHS or whatever.
Yeah, there was there
I've
were
seen that.
two things. Yeah, there was the Macross Plus OVA, which baby Bryan Cranston stars in the dub of that.
Oh,
If you want an
Wow.
idea of how weird that one is. Yeah, that was back when he was a no-name and he was still voicing monsters on Power Rangers. Bryan Cranston played the lead in a Macross dub. That's a real thing that exists. And Macross 2, which kind of got in under the same weird bar that the Macross movie got in under, of it was bought legally, but Harmony Gold wasn't happy about it. So they've been fighting very hard. This is very much a Cliff Notes version. I'm midway through editing a video that'll be on the Nick Izumi channel if you want more details about all this. But it's been ugly. And Macross creator Shoji Kawamori has been publicly very outspoken about it. During one interview, he said, "It breaks my heart that the people who worked on this aren't credited. I don't want to talk about it." And I can't emphasize that part enough. The Robotech version does not credit any of the original creators.
wow.
That's
Like,
pretty terrible.
That's real bad.
Say what you will about Star Blazers and what it did with Yamato, like, Star Blazers actually credits Leiji Matsumoto and Nishizaki and Noboru Ishiguro. They don't do that on Robotech. It just says animation produced by Tatsunoko. That's it.
Wow.
Wow.
Even though that first season of Robotech, which is Macross, they basically just straight translate Macross, but don't give the it's I know, I'm sorry, it's a mess. So this has been really ugly. But then I'll admit I've been noticing some weird stuff leading up to it, but then I'd given up hope once again. Back in 2019, Tatsunoko announced that they renewed their license with Harmony Gold, meaning that Harmony Gold would still have the legal rights to distribute Macross outside Japan for another 10 years. So I was like, okay, we're bummed.
See, that one sounded disingenuous.
Sorry.
So, this is where it gets this is the next part that's kind of messy. So Tatsunoko is an animation company. A lot of people have heard of it. They did sell the rights to Harmony Gold. Macross is actually owned by 2 other Japanese companies, though.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
And Big West, the one that the Macross's creator, Shoji Kawamori, works with, never okayed this.
Ooh.
So Shoji Kawamori has been, like, pissed about this for the better part of a decade now. But I had given up hope, because, like, this sounded like it would be a huge legal battle, whatever. Everything seemed hopeless. Then April 8th of this year happened. And kind of out of nowhere, an official English Macross Facebook page and Twitter were set up. And the official Robotech page shared the same announcement that was on the official English Macross page.
Dun, dun.
Big West Limited and the Los Angeles-based Harmony Gold announced an agreement surrounding the worldwide rights to Macross and Robotech. And the official word on the agreement is that Big West is allowed to distribute Macross content outside of Japan without Harmony Gold getting in their way.
Yeah.
Which is
Dude.
really cool.
That's really cool.
There were some weird things in the press release though that I don't feel like anyone is talking about that I kind of want to point out.
Please tell me the weird stuff.
Yes. I must know.
Not just so I mean everyone knew that Harmony Gold was trying to, again, they had a business model built on hoping no one would find out that their Japanimation was from Japan. But what's weird was in the press release, they also included the weirdly specific phrasing that Big West will do nothing to interfere with Harmony Gold producing a live-action Robotech movie.
Oh, no.
Which...
That's not going to happen.
I was going to say, which is a thing I know they've wanted to do, but I think it's weird that they were trying to imply that Big West was the thing stopping them.
It's not going to happen.
And not that it's just a weird, bad idea.
Robotech it would be so expensive to do a Robotech movie well, and there's no way that it would get the returns to, like, you can't make $100 million movie. You can make $100 movie, but you can't make $100 million Robotech movie and make a profit.
And like they've been talking about this thing for years. Like Lawrence Kasdan was briefly attached as a writer. Tobey Maguire was attached for a little bit, but that was a decade ago.
Like think about like when Robotech was airing first run in America, I was a child, and Nick hadn't been born yet. See, Transformers worked as a nostalgia property. First off, they put that movie out in 2007, not so way earlier when I was like in my 20s and still relevant. And secondly, there have been ongoing Transformers fiction since the original. Besides the original series getting rerun with the G2 Cube for years, and then Beast Wars and Beast Machines, and then like constant series. There was a never-ending Transformers on TV gaining new audience constantly since the 80s.
Transformers is orders of magnitude more relevant than Robotech has ever been.
But think about every time they try to reboot Thundercats. They've tried it twice now, and it has not found cultural relevance. Like, imagine someone trying to greenlight $100 million or even a $50 million Thundercats movie.
Yeah,
that's going to flop hard. Robotech is less relevant, has less nostalgia for people than Thundercats does. I think it's a solid argument because Thundercats had much more of a presence in the toy aisle and, frankly, a cool logo that people put on T-shirts in the early 2000s.
Robotech, the only reason I discovered it was it ran on Toonami.
Yeah.
But even the fact that it ran on Toonami, they only ran the first 2 seasons because, I'm about to give Harmony Gold credit, but it was 80s Harmony Gold, so it was a different monster anyway. The 3rd season never aired on American TV after the 80s because one of the main characters is a gender nonconformist. This character literally, he uses male pronouns, but he cross-dresses as a woman as a singer. But in the original Mospeada and in the Robotech version, and Robotech kind of shockingly didn't try to cut that out. So no modern channel would run the final season of Robotech as a result.
Yeah. That's like Robotech live action movie. Like, they could try to make it, but the best you're gonna get is an Asylum film, and I've seen Atlantic Rim.
Yeah, it's not good.
I saw Atlantic Rim before the MST3K episode. I watched that movie on its own.
There are 2 other things I do want to point out real quick that I think is interesting.
Both Transmorphers movies.
God damn it. I part of me probably should have seen this coming, because for about the last year now, I think where Harmony Gold makes their money, aside from, like I said, they have some kind of shady looking real estate ventures, but also they've been selling Robotech toys. And like they still sell those to a collector's market, but for like the last year, they've just been putting Macross emblems and names on things.
Really?
Like they've been like on the characters. I still think they're putting like the Americanized names on those, but on all the mecha, it's been Macross names. It hasn't been Veritex. It's been Valkyries, or it hasn't been Zentradi battle pods. It's been Regults and Glogs. So that was kind of.
It's funny. I always think of them as Valkyries. I never think of them as Veritech.
That's people will get very heated about that debate to an uncomfortable extent.
No, it's like I'm real, and I've never I have seen like Macross Plus, like I have seen, but most of my exposure was to the original Robotech as a child. But I think it's like because I haven't rewatched it, like my brain just wrote because like doing research on the toys. Like, my brain just saw Valkyrie all the time, and because that's also an English word.
It's super weird that they changed it so that they could call all their converting things Veritex between all 3 seasons, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not, like, I understand why they did it. I just realized that, like, I just never even made that association.
I think the other weird but cool thing that kind of maybe should have clued me in that something was happening soon is that while they're not out on home video as of yet, the 3 shows they Frankenstein together to make Robotech are streaming on Pluto TV and Tubi right now. Like, you can watch them subtitled in their original Japanese. Weirdly, if you look them up, they're still under a Robotech label, but you can watch them.
You're under a Robotech label.
Sometimes, yes. But
turns out your original name was Kano in the subtitled version, and you were Australian.
Last but not least, there is a what's the opposite of a silver lining to this news? Because
a dark middle.
Yeah. Since the news broke on April 8th, Big West did their first upload on an official Macross YouTube channel, which is super cool. It's not region locked. I like that. And Macross creator Shoji Kawamori was expressive about this on Twitter. He was very excited. Our first piece of Macross footage never released outside Japan was put up. It was admittedly a clips episode, but it was the OVA Macross flashback 2012, which was, I think it was like an extra on the original Laserdisc release of the movie. So it's this little half-hour OVA, and it's really cool that it got released outside Japan. I watched it last night, though, and there's some stuff Big West is going to have to work on. One, it's not region locked, but there's no subtitles on this bad boy.
Time to learn Japanese.
Probably, and it's not as big a deal because this little OVA is basically a music video, so it's not as big a deal. The bigger problem is that I don't know who selected the file to upload, but not only did they use an unsubtitled version, but the video quality is a goddamn VHS rip. Like, I'm not kidding. It is... You can see tracking lines on it.
Oh, no!
So, like, it's like, we have been waiting for this. Some people have been waiting for this for more than a decade. Spoilers, I'm some people. And
it's just Nick. Just only Nick. No one else. Nick's really excited, though, so it's fine. Maybe Raina.
It's frustrating because I have friends who have been fan subbing Macross for a long time, and all of them have better video files on their computer, and it's so frustrating because it's like there is 1080p versions of this I know they exist. I
right.
almost imported it. So yeah, that's good news, bad news, but mostly good news. The Harmony Gold's reign of terror is mostly over, and now we're back in the ineptitude of Big West instead. So,
Speaking of big things fighting each other,
oh boy,
Beautiful.
now that we're 40 minutes into this episode,
Hey, but we're doing good on the segues.
we are. We're excellent on segues,
We're
folks.
zipping along on those segues.
Just
Remember
call
when
us Dean
those
Cain
were a
going
thing?
off a cliff.
are dark.
That's how he was on a Segway.
Is this something with a terrible sound that will pull the spitting high tension wires down, perhaps?
You're introducing the topics, remember?
Yeah, it is. So, I'm so happy because another Japanese thing that I love got a new chapter, albeit the American version, and it was released just in time for my wedding anniversary.
Aw.
Yeah.
How thoughtful of them.
I subscribed to HBO Max for my wedding anniversary because my wife and I stayed in to watch Godzilla vs. Kong.
Much better than King Kong versus Godzilla.
I'm hesitant to totally agree with you.
I'm right. There is a definitive winner in this movie as opposed to the 1960s movie, which just kind of ended with a shrug.
The 1960s one has a definitive winner.
Who?
Kong.
Yeah, no, I don't buy it.
Kong beats the crap out of Godzilla and throws him into the water.
I don't know. Godzilla's fine.
Godzilla was still a bad guy at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, this is a remake 59 years in the making, and I was pleasantly surprised by it, especially considering no one is talking about this. This is from the director who brought us the Netflix Death Note.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Winger.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Godzilla versus Kong. I thought the monster fights were great.
Oh god, it is especially the two titular monsters, it is the best CG models they have ever used for them in these movies.
Oh yeah. And I felt it had the appropriate level of ridiculousness. I do think that the Millie Bobby Brown plot was a little superfluous to the story, and you could have cut a lot of it, but it didn't drag down the movie too much.
Yeah, I agree. It was a little weird.
Like
that one didn't go as far as it could have.
The podcaster kind of bugged me only because it was like, I don't know, I felt nostalgic about him because he was like, that's what conspiracy theorists sounded like 20 years ago when they were amusing and not trying to overthrow the government.
I was about to say, when you actually know things about conspiracy theories, almost every line he said, I'm like in the back of my head, I'm like, I hope he's not actually an anti-Semite.
Yeah. But other than that, like I liked the tie-in to like I mean, who knows how that major corporation got the Ghidorah skull from eco-terrorists, but whatever. They have it, and they're gonna use it to drive Mechagodzilla. Sure, I didn't care. It was great. I loved it.
I'm fine. Revenge of Kevin.
It's just, like, it was fun. Like, yes, of course Godzilla's gonna win, by the way. Like, this version of Godzilla, we've seen exactly how powerful it was. Like, we just saw the last movie. Like, and we've Kong's bigger than he used to be, but he's still a monkey. An ape. I can't believe there are people legitimately angry at anyone who refers to King Kong as a monkey.
As monkey.
As monkey.
Big
Like,
monkey.
they get so mad, like, he's an ape. I'm like, he's a giant.
Monkey.
He is not the same as the rest of us apes. Okay?
Him big monkey.
I'm an
Monkey.
ape. You're an ape. Gorillas are apes.
Excuse you.
Chimps are
I
apes.
am an ape.
You are a great ape like the rest of us.
I'm a grape ape. Thank you very much.
Still an ape then. All right, I'm still right. Anyways,
Monkey. I just like saying monkey.
yeah, no, there are
Monkey.
people legitimately angry that we are using what they believe to be a taxonomically inaccurate description of a fictional CGI creature.
That's it. Yeah, because megafauna are really held down by actual science.
Impossible megafauna. Megafauna are real. That's like a moose.
Yeah,
There
it's
is
a moose.
There is we still have moose, like are still existing megafauna.
Super megafauna.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
duper megafauna.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. He's the size of a building. I'm sorry that.
Yeah.
Like, if you're really worried about them being, taxonomically correct or scientifically correct, then instead of just swinging from building to building, we would have had a much more realistic fight opening with Kong slinging his dung at Godzilla. Something that I didn't get and I'm still upset about.
Okay, but these yahays that want to get all uppity about taxonomy, freaking taxonomy itself is just like a huge mess.
All I'm saying is that broccoli, cauliflower, kale, and cabbage are all the same fucking plant. They're all the same species.
Are mammals.
They're all the same species. We did that to that plant. It is our fault.
Taxonomically, coconuts are mammals.
That's not actually true. They do not reproduce through live birth.
Yes.
Yes, but they are hairy and they produce milk.
Yeah, there's more to. That's,
ridiculous.
They're not warm-blooded. They don't have blood.
They could be.
You need to have blood to be a mammal.
Don't give science ideas. The Jurassic Park scientists are going to be like, better give the coconut
This
blood.
Saturday on Sci-Fi. Blood coconut.
Blood coconut. Coming soon.
Why are we not writing
Made by the Asylum.
sci-fi shows?
I made the Sci-Fi Channel original movie generator. I want to point out.
Yeah.
You can find it. It's still out there on the internet. You just keep reloading it, and it'll give you the back of the DVD for Sci-Fi Channel original movies that don't exist.
Got to record my thing for the Manadactyl trilogy eventually. Anyway, I want to point something out about this movie that made me really happy. There is a kaiju team up that has never happened before, ever in Godzilla history. Some people might not realize this. Godzilla and Kong have never ever teamed up before this movie.
That's
brand new.
I think the only time they've met though was King Kong versus Godzilla.
Mm-hmm.
Unless someone else can think of some other thing I don't know about.
Yeah, Toho's Kong movie rights, they only made 2 films. And one of them was King Kong versus Godzilla, and one of them was the painfully underrated King Kong Escapes, where King Kong fights Mechani-Kong or Mecha-Kong, built by the evil Doctor Who.
Didn't they also, Toho made Frankenstein a giant monster?
Uh-huh. That was Frankenstein Conquers the World.
Yeah. There's just... shit's wild, man.
I'm just waiting for the Godzilla versus Biollante remake.
So Nick, you have any other thoughts about Godzilla v Kong: Dawn of Justice?
It was a fantastic movie, and shout out to all the weird Snyder bros on Twitter who looked at the trailer to this movie and were like, "I'm getting some Batman v Superman vibes. You guys, watch another movie. I'm begging you, watch another movie."
How do you say "Save Martha" in Monkey Noises?
Monkey.
It's
such a good movie, though. I had so much
fun. So my thoughts about so Godzilla v Kong is thoroughly enjoyable. Don't expect anything deep. The humans are just enough of them to feel connected, but just tropey enough where you don't care. And that's how humans should be in a kaiju movie.
To be To be fair, the 62 Godzilla versus Kong is like a biting satire about commercialism and like event like media event culture. So it's like a satire about itself. So that's a really deep movie. If you're looking for something like that, this is not what you're getting. You are getting monkey versus lizard.
This is the closest we're ever gonna get to like a Gamera movie, because with that little girl's connection to Kong.
Oh, Gamera.
I will tell you, like, it's the problem is the Gamera's at a completely different studio than Godzilla, so like.
And Toho don't want Godzilla to be on screen with Gamera.
I believe it would only happen if they got to do like what they did with the Zilla fight in oh god, what was the name of that movie?
Final Wars.
Final Wars, thank you. Like where like the fight lasted 17 seconds or something ridiculously short like that.
From what I understand, I'd have to I have to confirm this, but I think someone from Katakawa said that they tried pitching it at Toho. Katakawa, who owned Gamera these days, and Toho's response was, "We have nothing to gain from this." Like, that's...
What happens if Legendary picks up the rights to Gamera, though?
I don't... Hey, Legendary has the rights to Gundam right now, so Gundam versus Godzilla might happen. Who knows?
Ooh, I'd watch the heck out of that.
We would need an interdimensional portal. Let's bring in Pacific Rim. There's an interdimensional portal in the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Or there was in the first movie.
Yeah, who knows?
Well, you could easily more easily do Gundam versus Mechagodzilla, right?
That technically happened in Ready Player One. But
by
technically I mean that literally happened.
It's Ready Player One.
I don't give Ready Player anything money. So I haven't seen that.
Don't care.
Yeah, I didn't pay to see it. Someone brought the DVD to my house.
Oh.
And so I didn't pay to see it. And that was the scene where a young Japanese boy jumps out of the back of Serenity, yes, the one from Firefly.
Yeah, no, we got
it. turns into a Gundam to fight Mechagodzilla, and I'm like, someone looked at my 13-year-old like sketch pad and got all the wrong messages from it.
Right.
All right. So unless does anyone have anything more to say about Godzilla versus Kong?
Monkey.
All right. So we should move on to the next big piece of media, which, holy shit, man, 52 minutes in. We're finally getting to Falcon and Winter Soldier. We put them on the thumbnail, huge. Falcon and Winter Soldier, man. That just wrapped up. We talked about the first episode, last episode of this show, but as we're recording this, the season finale aired a few days ago.
And I'm pretty sure I said before that I would, I promised I would watch it.
But Gen didn't.
I didn't watch it.
So I don't know if Gen wants to plug. Do you want to plug your ears or?
No, it's fine. What you do?
So that sure was a season of a television show that I enjoyed.
I had a lot of fun with it. My leftist media critique had me still a little frustrated with how Aaron Sorkin liberally the finale ended up being.
Well, I mean,
but it was better than a lot of people make it out to be. That's what I'm gonna say.
Because I mean, Falcon is effectively repeating Carly's points.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I don't know.
I think there's a lot of people made it before I saw it. People tried spoiling it for me, and a lot of people made it sound like Carly gets killed and the show plays that as a good thing. But it looked like she got killed because the actual villain wanted to silence her. So
it was a combination of that and the fact that her death is considered is portrayed as a tragedy in the show.
They literally Pieta her.
Yeah.
They Jesus her.
Yeah, it's She is a martyr. It's not going to be the last we see the Flag Smashers. The Super Soldier ones, yes, but the Flag Smashers, no. I hope it's not the last we see of them, because they set them up to be like. I mean, to be fair, like the original character of Flag Smasher in the comics is rarely, if ever, used, but he actually tends to, like, in his later, like, be more positively portrayed than when he started, when he was just literally like blowing up flag factories. Um, look it up. It's
Do you
but
know how much Captain America I've read? I don't need to look it up.
I'm not saying to you to look it up. I'm saying to the listeners. So like I think that they did but they planted that she was seeing things in very black and white when she did the blew up people earlier in the season. And I've known enough people in real life who are that black and white in their thinking, and even though they're right, don't necessarily like approach things completely rationally. I thought that her character, like, I mean, I had hoped for a more redemptive arc for her, but I think that in the confines of the number of episodes they're fitting the story into, it worked fine. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, Nick?
I sometimes she made decisions that I found really frustrating
Yeah.
because it did feel like the Marvel school of the quote unquote antagonist of the story is making too good a point, so we have to make them do something cartoonishly evil so we don't forget that they're
Yeah.
bad. And like, but again, at least she got Jesus Pieta.
Yeah.
Unlike the person whose quote unquote redemption didn't work with me
John
was
Walker.
yeah.
So
Like
yeah, it's
Sam and Bucky were too willing to work with him after all that.
I didn't mind them working with him in that finale, only because like it's a desperate situation like thing. But I do think they were too, like, he was like trading quips with like Bucky, and like
That's
no,
that's
that
what I mean. Like it
yeah.
would have been okay if they would have bitched about having him along more instead
Yeah,
of
that is literally the only thing that bothered me about the entire series.
That said, I think it's interesting. Again, I'm sorry, I'm just
There will
spoiling
be
stuff,
spoilers. There will be spoilers. If you don't want spoilers for the show, skip ahead. I get you've listened to like you're fine. You've listened to like an hour of the show. We'll forgive you if you quit before we talk about Mortal Kombat. I don't know.
but like he goes running headlong into the arms of what are clearly neo-Nazis. I mean, Madam Hydra, if you read the comics. So I'm kind of good with that, and I'm almost good, and I'm kind of good with the idea that Bucky, that they're kind of setting things up for the future, is that Bucky put his trust in people who the epilogue of the show demonstrates are not worth trusting. And I'm excited to see that come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, it's I really liked it. I will say that the nice thing about Sharon Carter being thoroughly underdeveloped in her previous appearances is that they could just do literally anything with her, and it wouldn't be out of character because they never actually bothered giving her a character before.
Yep.
So like I thought that whole situation was really good. I enjoyed that thoroughly.
I still can't get over the MCU taking the boring Carter and turning her into amazing and worthy of her own TV series, and taking the cool Carter and making her incredibly boring up until this show.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Everwood is not as an engaging actress as, you know,
as
like,
my beloved Haley
Atwell,
international
is,
treasure.
Like, let me put it this way: like, I have to go look up the actress who plays Sharon Carter because in my head she's just Everwood, which is a show that she was on the CW. Emily Van Camp. There we go.
Say,
Chris Pratt was also on Everwood, but he's done enough things where I've stopped referring to him as Everwood.
I'll say one other thing. Costume wise, this show had some of my favorite costumes in all of the MCU. I especially loved I can't even say I especially loved. I loved Zemo's outfit, especially when he wore the stupid purple sock. I loved Bucky's outfit. Sebastian Stan is a lot more trim in this series, but he looked so good.
Yeah.
I definitely don't have strong feelings about Sebastian Stan. I do. I have a crush.
He's a very handsome man. We all have a crush.
And then Sam Wilson's final costume
Oh, yeah.
is the one of the best examples of taking a comic book costume and just putting it on a person.
Yeah.
I loved that. Loved it. Capital Love.
Yeah.
So good.
It's I thoroughly enjoyed this. This series was exactly what I wanted it to be. And even down to John Walker. Like, I don't like Bucky being cool with John Walker, but I actually felt like that was a really great take on John Walker.
I liked the performance, and I got a kick out of him wearing the U.S. agent costume. That was
Well, I mean, he was exactly how I want John Walker to be portrayed.
mhm.
As in, like, there's a part of him that's trying to be a good guy, but he's not good at it, and he fucks up constantly. And he's the bad side of loyalty to country.
Can we also talk about I do think that there's some kind of poignant commentary in John Walker in that he is a an enforcer, dare I say a police figure who was caught on video performing a murder with the symbol of America and not only gets off the hook but gets to run into the open arms of fascists just waiting to radicalize him.
To be
I
fair,
think that there's some commentary there.
To be fair,
there's some commentary
To be
there.
fair, the Contessa is working for the U.S. government, it looks like.
I mean, that doesn't make it better.
No, well, no, but it makes it understandable from his point of view, like, as to he still thinks he's the good guy.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, he got off after committing a murder and is now being welcomed by radicals who will likely further radicalize him. I can't imagine a real life scenario that this meshes with. Honestly, it's
timely.
It's because my thought is I like U.S. Agent as a character, but I don't like him. I enjoy stories that involve him.
No, that's fair. I'm with you there.
I'm really happy with the way that the season turned out, and that we're going to be seeing, Sam Wilson again, Anthony Mackie, Sam Wilson as Captain America going forward in the MCU.
Very good with it. It's super worth your time, Gen. Like, honestly,
it sounds like it.
It doesn't.
Yeah, spoiler, by the end he takes up the mantle of Captain America. Sorry.
See, that I'm not surprised with.
Okay.
At all.
No one was. The toy was revealed before the show started airing.
Yeah.
I knew that like a long time ago.
Yeah.
But
so,
the journey of how he gets there is really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if I remember correctly, like he had like really big qualms about filling those shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Yeah, the whole season's pretty much about him getting there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
We get a lot of interesting Sam Wilson stuff. Obviously his backstory's been modified for the MCU, where he's now from the South. Like the actor is, and not, because I think in the comics Sam Wilson's from New York.
Yeah, he's a social worker from Harlem.
Yeah, it's because it's a Marvel character. If they couldn't think of anything, they're from New York.
Yeah, exactly. And it was the 60s. It was the late 60s. That Marvel wanted to get in on actually getting a black superhero out there.
Yeah.
The Falcon shows up. His debut is amazing because Red Skull kidnapped him for no discernible reason. Captain America teaches him how to fight. It's a great book. It's a great book.
Yeah. It's, I really enjoyed the show quite a bit. It's like we're going to get so much Marvel this year because like we're getting the both the 2020 and 2021 movie slate. Because Marvel's so locked in on their timing, because it's effectively one giant TV show, but they can't air the TV shows sometimes without getting the movies out there.
Yup.
So like we like have like 6 Marvel movies coming out really soon. Oh,
Can't wait for Shang-Chi and the Legend of Kim's Convenience. That's going to be... I'm very excited for that. I'm mostly just sad because Kim's Convenience got canceled, but I love Simu Liu, so
okay.
it's
See,
okay.
I didn't know that actor was on both. I thought you were just being racist.
No,
Okay.
that was... He shared that... He shared this beautiful Photoshop someone did
okay. I
of
didn't
him
know.
of him with the rest of the cast, and he's like, which of you jokers did this? And they like kept Simu Liu in the middle, but then they put the cast of Kim's Convenience into the poster where the rest of the characters were.
Gotcha. Okay.
No.
Sorry, you just got me like I didn't get that reference because I didn't watch Kim's Convenience. So
It's
like
an excellent show. It's so funny, and Simu Liu he's a very, very funny actor. So I do sincerely hope that Shang-Chi lets him both do the badass thing and the and his comedic side, because he is an incredibly charismatic and incredibly funny person. And I'm sorry, I really don't think they could have picked a better actor. I've been Kim's Convenience was another show I was stealing from Canada before Netflix got it. So, and I rewatched all of it on Netflix, so it's not my fault it got canceled.
okay.
And I'm just really happy that he's still working. I'm actually kind of pissed that show got canceled, if I'm going to be perfectly honest.
All right. So, do we have anything more to say about Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Nope.
Monkey.
Monkey.
There are no monkeys.
Okay, so another. Sorry, I'll stop trying to sing Techno Syndrome. So Mortal Kombat hit HBO Max and theaters this last weekend, and I am the only one of us who saw that movie. It sure was a Mortal Kombat movie.
I'm sorry, I was finishing watching the Snyder Cut. I'm not even kidding. It took me 2 weeks.
And you can't be mad at me, Trey, because I've been watching BuzzFeed Unsolved.
So Mortal Kombat is sure it's a Mortal Kombat movie. That's like, okay, so like, I mean, they play with the lore a little bit, but like the movie has a main character who's not in the games, which is a little surprising. He's an original character for the movie, but he's kind of your point of view character. Like in the first Mortal Kombat, you kind of get that served by Johnny Cage, but Johnny Cage isn't in this movie. Your main characters are Cole is this main guy, and then you have Sonya, Kano, and Jax. And then you also get like Liu Kang and Kung Lao, and Raiden obviously in here. And you've got, Shang. It's a Mortal Kombat movie is all I can say. It's like, unlike the 90s movies, because this is rated R, you get actual like a few like gore scenes, including a thing with Kung Lao's hat spinning and turning like a table saw thing, and like cutting another character in half, starting from the head and like bisect. And it's cool. It's like as graphic. It's the whole movie as a whole could have been way more graphic than it was. Like but and obviously you get your Scorpion and your Sub-Zero. Is actually the conflict between Scorpion and Sub-Zero is kind of like the almost like a central like tying thread throughout the film. And technically, you actually don't get the tournament in this movie. There's a lot of fighting, but technically they set it up as though the tournament's going to be the next movie. Who knows if that'll happen? But
what? I'm sorry. What?
Shang Tsung is cheating and sending assassins to kill off Earthrealm's champions before the tournament can start.
Rude.
Yeah, and so, but they end up, a bunch of fights. You get to see the main character, fights Goro and stuff, um, and like there's, it. I don't want to spoil too much because the entire reason to watch the movie is the neat fights. And if you're looking for anything else, like it's a freaking like I've seen negative reviews of this film, and it's like, oh, it's just a so shallow and all stuff. I'm like, it's a Mortal Kombat movie, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
I was about to say,
I've
are
heard
we
really good things about
yeah,
it.
no,
are
just
we
it's
from, like,
pretending that the lore of the
fans.
games is really is
this is as serious as you can possibly take this lore. This is
Yeah,
as
like-
serious as you can possibly take this lore. It is. If you
these
try
are very
to take,
stupid games.
yeah, they are stupid. And that's why we love them, because like I've been playing Mortal Kombat since I was a child. Like, it's Mortal Kombat. Like, it's don't think too hard about it. And the credits, there's a new version of Techno Syndrome that plays over the end credits. And
Yeah,
and you get to hear Kung Lao go flawless victory after he saws someone in half. And like
Nice.
Scorpion, so the best thing, so this is just a minor spoiler. Scorpion, like, so the movie starts like with effectively like human, like Scorpion is a human in like, feudal Japan, and then Sub-Zero comes and kills his family and then kills him. And then the main character is a descendant of Scorpion.
Ah.
All right.
okay.
And he in the final battle, like against Sub-Zero, he's fighting Sub-Zero, the main character, and he has like this the weapon that Scorpion. I'm just gonna call him Scorpion because I know the real name of the character, like when his Japanese name, but I'm gonna call him Scorpion for ease. He has like the dagger that Scorpion used in his fight, and he was killed. And Scorpion's been in hell this whole time. And he rises from hell to fight Sub-Zero. And he's been speaking in Japanese this whole movie. Like, all of his early scenes, he's speaking purely in Japanese. And as he resurrects from hell, you hear him yell, "Get over here," and does his, the get over here move with his face. And then resumes exclusively speaking Japanese for the rest of the movie.
That's
He says
amazing.
one line in English. He is from feudal Japan. How does he know how to say "get over here" in English? Who cares? It's Mortal Kombat.
I was about to say,
Right?
this is high cinema.
All right. So
Like,
that's the movie you're getting when you watch Mortal Kombat. All right. If you're looking for anything else, you have shown up to the wrong film. Jimmy Olsen is playing Jax, and it's fine. Because Mechad Brooks plays Jax, who played Jimmy
Nice.
Olsen on Supergirl. He is jacked. That guy got. But like when he shows up on screen with human arms, I'm like, not for long. Because it's Mortal Kombat, and I know what that character looks like in the video games.
I'm sorry, I cannot imagine being like, and keep in mind, I think I'm pretty open-minded to what a movie can be. Like, I don't think just because something is a stupid movie means that it's bad. Like, Hokkaido is one of my favorite movies. But, like, when I go to see Mortal Kombat, I'm just expecting people in silly costumes to kill each other. That's
Yeah, like,
literally all I want.
I mean, it's a video
Test
game
your
movie.
might.
There's and it's a
Test your
fighting
might.
video game movie. Like, there's not much. You just enjoy the fighting.
Yeah, it's.
That's pretty much it.
I
I
think
mean,
I
they
think
can
the
try to
movie's
shove a plot line in there, but
the movie's well cast. And it's enjoyable. It's Mortal Kombat.
suspend your fucking disbelief for
Okay.
once in your goddamn life.
Like occasionally watch the movie and like a couple of like a phrase of music from Techno Syndrome enters the instrumental score and you're like, yeah. And
Nice.
then Sub-Zero freezes someone and you're like, yeah. And then Goro shows up and it's just Goro. 'Cause Goro.
Mhm.
You know?
I I'll probably take a look at it because I
yeah.
have HBO Max for a little
Look,
bit longer.
If you're looking for a good movie, you have made a mistake. But if you're looking for Mortal Kombat, you're getting Mortal Kombat. They gave you what it is on the tin. And as a person who has watched Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, and I have watched Mortal Kombat Conquest, which none of you fuckers remember existed, I watched that show every episode.
Wait, was that the web series or was that
No,
the?
that's the
Okay,
90s live action television series.
that
That
weird
is
one,
technically
right?
a prequel.
That was like kind of like run like a game show. Am I thinking of the right one?
No, it
Okay.
was a live action show with you
There
had
you go.
Raiden and you had Liu Kang, but also they had these two original characters of Zero and is it Tasha? Not Tasha. It's Cristiano Loken played a character who was the other, and so Liu Kang and his two non-canonical friends in Outworld, and Shang Tsung's doing stuff, and occasionally bad guys from Mortal Kombat show up, but then usually they're fighting non-characters because they don't necessarily have the ability to kill off canon characters, so you introduce other characters so they can die.
I like Liu Kang and his non-canonical friends. That's just a phrase that makes me happy. I can't explain why. That's just a happy phrase for me.
Yeah, it's.
Oh.
I watched
Like a
this
children's
show.
book. A horrifying
Taja.
children's book.
Taja was Cristiano Loken's character. Oh, I'm sorry. Does it not follow the? Maybe it follows Kung Lao. Who's the main character? The Kung Lao is the main character in this. Sorry, not
Okay,
Liu Kang.
does he have non-canonical
Yes,
friends?
it's
Like,
Kung
how
Lao
much
and
are
his.
you lying to me about?
It's Kung
Tell me
Lao.
the truth.
It's Kung Lao and his non-canonical friends.
Okay, that changes things. Now I'm less excited. Now, if it was Liu Kang, I'd be excited, but Kung Lao.
And
not
Jeffrey
so much.
Meek played both Raiden and Shao Kahn.
Huh.
A bizarre dual casting.
I don't know why that makes me incredibly happy. Like this, everything about this sounds like a bad idea, and I'm angry that I didn't watch it.
Daniel Bernhardt played Zero, who is one of the non-canonical friends, and he's a Swiss actor who was in Bloodsport 4.
Okay.
And Bloodsport. He was in Bloodsport 2 and Bloodsport 3, and in Future War.
Ironically, I feel like Bloodsport would be a good movie to start with as inspiration if you're making a Mortal Kombat movie.
And he was Agent Johnson in The Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And, but he also appeared in an episode of Jean-Claude Van Johnson.
I don't know what that is.
That's Jean-Claude Van Damme's Amazon series where he plays a version of himself. Oh, he's he's also gonna appear in Matrix 4 as Agent Johnson again. So
excellent.
let's see. Paolo Montalban played Kung Lao. And he was in the Rodgers and Hammerstein Cinderella as Prince Christopher. He was in the Brandy Cinderella movie.
That guy!
Yeah, he was
That's one of my
the
favorite
prince.
movies.
The best
Yeah,
Cinderella movies.
So he
It
was the
really
prince in that.
is.
He played Kung Lao, and then Cristiano
okay.
Loken, Terminator 4's Cristiano Loken played Taja.
This
It's
sounds vaguely beautiful.
It was not good. I watched every episode.
But this sounds like the kind of trash that I would have watched. I'm a little disappointed that I'm not familiar with it. Have you seen my trash collection?
Yeah, it aired from October 3rd, 1998 to May 22nd, 1999 on TNT.
That's insane. How was I not familiar with it? How did I not know about this? Sorry, I'm just
TNT, but I always want to think of it as tint.
Tint.
That's how my brain says it.
Yeah, no, it's how have you...
It's on tint.
God, I wonder if it's Chris Casamassa played Scorpion, he played Scorpion in the first Mortal Kombat movie, but not in Annihilation. But he played him in the first Mortal Kombat movie, and he came back to reprise the character on Mortal Kombat Conquest.
Well, not everyone has the devotion of Dick Durock, who played Swamp Thing in every live-action iteration until the DC streaming show, because he was too dead to do it.
Yeah,
which is a good reason to not show up, frankly.
Yeah, Chris Casamassa is primarily a martial artist and a stuntman, so most of his credits are stunts. Because believe it or not, you don't need large acting range to play a version of Scorpion whose face you never see. Like, they have a good actor playing Scorpion in the new movie with talent, but in these Mortal Kombats, you don't ever see, the face.
Didn't you kind of see a face in Annihilation, and it was really bad CG or something?
So the funny thing is that
am I remembering
Scorpion
that wrong?
in Annihilation was played by J.J. Perry. But J.J. Perry ended up playing Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat Conquest. Oh, I found out why Chris Casamassa didn't reprise his role in Mortal Kombat Annihilation. It's because he was doing stunts on Batman and Robin.
I don't know if that's dodging a bullet or not.
I don't know. He came back for Conquest.
Because I think Batman and Robin, I actually think it's kind of an anti-classic, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah. So the game characters who showed up besides Kung Lao, Shao Kahn, Raiden, and Shang Tsung, because Shang Tsung's your main bad guy in the series. The other game characters who showed up were obviously Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Katana, Noob Saibot, Noob Saibot, Quan Chi, Melina, Rain, Reiko, and Reptile.
Well, I mean, Reptile tracks, because if you've already made a Scorpion and a Sub-Zero costume, you might as well just use the pattern a third time.
And then, because WCW aired also on TNT,
yes,
wrestlers
Mang
Wrath and both appeared on the show in guest roles, and it's.
I was really hoping you were going to say that the Mortal Kombat characters sometimes showed up on WCW.
Oh my God, that would have been amazing. That sadly didn't happen. So I guess really the moral of the story is that we need to get someone to release Mortal Kombat Conquest on streaming. It's not good. Let's be clear. This is not a good show.
Okay, wait a minute. It's not good. It's late 90s TV that only 3 people remember. Why is it not streaming on Tubi, frankly? That's where I go for bad TV shows no one remembers.
I'm just taking a look out here. So it is available for purchase on iTunes for $1 an episode.
I swear to God, Tubi isn't paying me to advertise for them. I'm just... They're my favorite streaming service because they have trash and they have classics, and there is no middle ground.
Yeah, it's available. The Mortal Kombat Conquest is available. All 22 episodes are available for individual. You can buy the full season on Google Play for $25 to watch it on your devices, but there's no. That's
a lot of money for
Mortal Kombat Conquest. I wonder if there's a DVD. Oh, here here we go. So it is available for $20 on DVD.
All right, now you're speaking my language.
But the question is, will it arrive in time for our meat grinder?
That's 22 episodes. We are not watching 22 episodes of Mortal Kombat Conquest that weekend.
You're not watching 22 episodes.
Yeah, Nick and I are.
On the other hand.
Do that while your characters are dead?
Yeah. We'll just be in the background while the rest of you play.
It'll be fine.
Oh man. All right. So we just this episode has happened, man. We should move on to the final part of the episode, I guess. Mailbag's empty this month, so Arkhamites, get on this shit. Stop launching new AIs. Just write us a letter.
Use your AI to write us a letter.
Yeah.
Have Vern write us a letter.
Yeah, have Vern write us a letter. Either the AI or the guy who used to be my boss before he quit. One of the two. You get your choice. One of the Verns has to write a letter. And it's up to you, Arkhamites, to make it happen.
If
and
Brian
I don't care.
Your old boss, I'd be both excited and scared. Oh my god.
I can tell you where he lives. It's a few blocks from me. All right. So this is the part of the show where we do the Vomit Hat Steve challenge. The challenge is that I'm going to read a line from a book. The challenge is I'm going to read a line from a book, and the challenge to the listener is to guess what book I am reading from. If you guess correctly, you get included in the Hall of Awesome. The benefits of the Hall of Awesome are as follows. 1, I read your name aloud every episode. 2, we put your name up on the website on a page that is really hard to find, but it's there. And 3, nothing else. I guess I won't send Arkhamites to your house anymore. That's your prize. Is you never have to worry about
now.
Me.
You can't keep doing that.
I don't know. It's
it's not fair to his wife. She makes very nice candles. That's like
you don't know if she's okay with it or not. You haven't asked her. Maybe she likes him getting out of the house sometimes. It's been quarantined.
So.
Maybe she needs the break, Nick. Maybe she needs the break. All right. So the following people are in the Hall of Awesome currently. Arkham Zero, Raina Innocenti, Cheese McDaniel, Krista, Slither ED, Shameless Attacker, The Random Ramblings Man, Core Fan, Capico, Chris Cram, Lily Source, Paper Godzilla, Cavsy, The Minnesota Librarian, Sean Orange, Keith Shizuo, Sakura Sunset, Joel Kreisman, Patrick Delahanty, Wonderland Hearts, and Megsy Sass Council. Still got it in one breath. All right.
My God.
Even stumbling over the Random Ramblings Man, who should also write us a letter.
Yeah. Pick up, my dude. One of you must do it.
All right. Here's your line. Here's your line. Unfortunately, I was noticed right away, and someone said that I was more than welcome to have some of their water. But did I have a cup? Of course I didn't. That's the line from the book. If you know what book that is, go to nerdandtie.com/contact, fill out the little formy form, and tell us. Or if you have any other thoughts, hopes, dreams, random ideas, plots for Mortal Kombat movies, just shoot them our way. What did you think of Mortal Kombat? What did you think of Godzilla vs. Kong? What did you think of Falcon and the Winter Soldier? What did you think of Gen not seeing these things? Tell us.
I'm sorry.
Give us your hopes, your dreams, your thoughts, your random torpedo diagnostic tool books in case we have to launch something from a submarine. Go to nerdandtie.com/contact, click on the form and do the thingy thing.
I swear to God, Gen, if next episode the only thing you've watched is Robotech, I'm going to explode.
Writing myself a note to watch this week.
We come back in May.
And Gen has watched all of Robotech. Just like,
Nope.
And have to tell us the significant difference in artwork between Macross and Mospita seasons.
They when they Americanized the names in Mospita, they took the guy with a really normal name and gave him a weird one, and took the guy with the weird name and gave him a normal one. It's really frustrating.
So, okay, in Japan his name was John, so we're going to call him Flinko Winkerbean.
Yeah, no, really. There's a guy named Ray, and they changed his name to Rand. Then there was a guy named Stick, and his name became Scott. I want to know, but I don't want to know.
All right, you should get us out of here, man.
All right, coming at you live from the Nerd and Tie Quarantine Dome, I have been Nick Izumi.
I'm Trey Dorn.
And Proc.
And remember, you can subscribe to this show on anywhere that greater podcasts are sold. I mean, I guess we're on Luminary, so that's technically true. But, sorry, I was queuing up the music. No one can tell that I accidentally played the wrong song for like 5 notes because only I can hear the music this episode. And now the stupid player is not letting me. So,
I was gonna give you an out of. It's not that Trey's having technical difficulties. I literally can't hear music. It's just my superhero weakness. I can't hear it.
I'm not kidding. The damn thing won't let me move the thing. There we go. Anyway, so if remember, you can subscribe to this pod. We don't edit this show. You can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes, on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere that greater podcasts can accept an RSS feed. And remember, just go rate and review the show on Apple Podcasts because that helps our stuff. Because believe it or not, we're on Luminary too. If you want to be a weirdo who uses Luminary, no one uses Luminary. I mean, I guess we're on it, but who cares? And
if you are the guy using Luminary, please put us up so we have 100% of the service's listeners.
Right,
I would appreciate.
So remember, you can subscribe to the show on. Besides that, you can follow the show on social media. We are at Nerd and Tie on Twitter, nerdandtie.tumblr.com on Tumblr, and Facebook.com/Nerd and Tie. We're part of the Nerd and Tie network. A lot of amazing shows on this network. Like Let's Be Legendary, a weekly Let's Play show using D&D 5 edition that's set in like a Weird West setting. That's pretty awesome. You could listen to that show if you wanted. Listen to The Meat Grinder. New episodes the 15th of every month where everybody dies constantly.
Yep.
Although last episode I don't think anybody died. But people will die next episode, trust me. And remember, in your hearts and your dreams, you can still support this show financially, because I didn't say that yet. You remember, you can contribute to our legal fund by gofundme.com/nerdandtie. You can just give us sponsorships. You can, I sound really manic probably to these guys because they can't hear the fast music playing behind me. You can, of course, contribute to. I've got a Patreon at patreon.com/TREGORN. Nick's got a Patreon at patreon.com/NickIzumi. And again, you can buy things on Etsy at Ocelot Dude Designs because it's cool. There's neat stuff that Gen makes with stuff. And remember, in your hopes and your dream, in your heart, somewhere deep inside, you know that the truth is out there, and that when you're in your darkest moment, when you feel like you're all alone, and it's just so cold, and you hear someone reaching out behind you, they're saying, "Get over here!"
Ah!
And then they give you a hug. That's it. That's what happens, man.
Mortal Kombat.
Morale combat. Say your catchphrase.
Keep on spocking in the free world.
It's better than Morel combat, where they're just hunting for mushrooms in the woods.
But they get really upset if other people find their stash.
Oh, yeah.
Dear Lord. This is where the show ends.